month of November 2023. I thought I'd do this one's a little more general with the tarot, but I will just get to a couple of the cards here and just sort of do a general overview, and then we'll go into a more specific um, intuitive idea following. All right, so we'll just start out. From the majority of the cards that I see here, on the average, everything is looking very, very stable. And I actually see more money in this month than I have in any of the previous months. There is still some kind of residual energy around having to sort of battle for some things. There's a competitive energy still around, but definitely see some forward movement, and there is definitely some issues that we'll get through once I get into going through the more specific detail. But anyway, I just want to start with the general idea. Major Arcana out, of course, is the Justice card, you in the reading, but a lot of the cards, even though these are sort of minor elements, the two main ones out would be the High Priestess as well as the Justice card. And as a side note, under the deck was the Four of Wands. So what I'm seeing here overall, just to start it out, is with the Page of Pentacles. I mean, it definitely resonates for me that there is going to be a certain amount of you in a stage in the month of November, a lot more stability. There's a lot more practical energy here. Certainly because I see the Page of Pentacles as well as the Four of Pentacles. There's also an idea here that there is more commitment going toward your pursuits. There's also a studious sort of feel here as well. And there's definitely a sense of loyalty to the cause or loyalty to the situation, where you're trying to do a little bit more research into something, I would say, because my study card is the Page of Pentacles, and certainly when I do see it following with the Page of Swords, anything like that, that is even more research oriented. But what I'm looking at right now is it's like you're trying to make your dreams come true, put something into the practical, with the Magician card. So you're taking it from the intuitive into the more grounded zone of things. So when we get to the King of Pentacles, you're definitely, there's a mature energy here. Could be you or someone else that's coming in. Again, I'm just doing the general overview, and then we'll get to the more detailed, specific parts of the read. But we also have the Knight of Swords. So there's some kind of communication or some kind of action that's coming in here as well that will kind of advance things. And we also have the Knight of Wands. So you are taking, sorry, action based on that communication. And there's the Page of Swords. So I knew I'd seen that out here. So with the Page of Swords, this to me is you're doing some research on really trying to push something forward. Definitely is in something that is going to be putting you into more of a practical, you're trying to manifest something. There's something here that's showing that you've made the commitment and it's actually going to start moving ahead now. The Page of Pentacles, again, it's more of it is a practical, ambitious type of card, but it's not high energy. It's more kind of steadfast. So it's more along the lines of, doing um, the background work to something to really get something underway to advance it. That's really what I would say is kind of the stage of November. That's really the primary energy that's out. And also, and it's kind of finding your own compass, as they say, figuring out where you are, because this is the current situation, this particular card. And of course, the card that was crossing is the Four of Pentacles. So, and the Four of Pentacles is the one that is, what's complementing you or something that might be crossing you in the way. But right now, I feel like your energy is you're a little more closed off, a little more reserved. You're really in a space where you're trying to, like I said, put out some energy here that is more moving into the steps toward a particular goal. So you're trying to find something that can offer you a little bit more, to put into the tangible, practical dream here. So anyway, either way, you are focused, and it seems to be on a lot of the money matters for sure. And there is a sense of happiness and joy and wish fulfillment that also comes through in this read. So there's a lot of hope on several levels. There's also indicators here around family matters or around areas where, those that you consider family. Those are areas that I feel that you will be dedicating yourself, and really putting some, time and effort into something, but again, not without challenges and some conflicts. But because with the Five of Wands, I mean, there is definitely some kind of a little bit of a competitive feel there with that challenge about willpower, something about, but I do feel overall you're succeeding. I'll show you why in a minute here. But just to start it out again, Page of Pentacles, kind of the action that you would need to take anyway, and that I feel that you will be undertaking, is one that is avoiding distraction. You're really trying to put yourself around interesting ideas and people and environments, making sure that your own interests are kind of being met. And it's just a reminder of the things that you really enjoyed to do. And it's helping you to find the discipline to sort of support those goals and to really focus on what's important there. So again, Page of Pentacles is definitely a really good card for, you could be dealing with a younger person here as well, because this is definitely, energy around a youthful sort of quality of someone that is influencing the read, but it is also focusing on learning and growth, because that's in that same vein of, you using that youthful energy, that naivety toward your own potential. There's a more of a willingness to learn and grow in the month of November. But again, there's practical hard work that goes with the Page of Pentacles. It's kind of a slower moving kind of energy here as well. But it definitely supports trying to reach a certain level of stability or success. Again, that's where your focus is. Financial aspects seem to be where you may be struggling, and so that's why this is probably where there's more of a desire to grow and learn, and more of an eagerness to move into a new opportunity, something that's going to provide you with a certain level of security and stability. And I feel like you're achieving that, because with the Page of Pentacles and all the cards of action that I see following that, I feel like there is something that's moving ahead in the month of November. Excuse me. So then we'll get right into sort of the background cards here. So, of course, the Magician to me is, you're manifesting something. You're bringing something forward here with the Magician. Again, it's more of a clarifier to the Page of Pentacles, but it is still a major arcana, but it's more of a background card here. So it does speak to trying to bring something into the, from the spiritual elements or your intuitive side, and finding more support in the practical environment to make it happen. So anyway, this is also a card, when we're talking about finances, this is where financial opportunities will increase. This is where you're going to get a little bit more of something coming in that's going to be more advantageous to you. So again, however that resonates for you. So if it means that you're getting a fair amount of assistance that is allowing you to increase your money, or if it's actual money, or if it's actual people giving you things that will help you to bring about more money, however that resonates for you. But either way, there's more of an advantage in this month to build on skills, and very important skills, especially when we're talking about the Magician, because this is skills that you already have a foundation for. So I feel like this is not something that's just coming into existence. It's something that you're trying to build on, that you already have a predilection for. The Magician is somebody who is able to elevate something. This is somebody who is the alchemist, and they can transform things to make something happen, to make it materialize. The Magician is also somebody who's very agile and has a very good sense of sort of that psychic world. And so they're able to bring things in with just simply the desire and the intent, and then they just focus on it to make, again, dreams a reality. So you can call it a magical influence, but really this is you kind of noticing patterns and synchronicities and finding a way to organize it so that you can actually bring something into your world, where you're creating it, where you're sculpting it, where you're making it manifest. So again, this is where something is starting to take off. This is something that's starting to materialize. You might be using an old skill in a new way, but either way, you're skillfully acquiring something to advance it and taking action on it, because we have, and it's super practical action. Like I said, a lot of this energy here is very, very grounded, very, and it's like you're doing it with money. So there's something here that's coming in that is helping you to kind of build up the resources are built up here, or whatever, something along that line. There's more enthusiasm, and it just feels like there's more dedication to learning something, or education. There could also be notification about money coming in here with that Page of Pentacles. So there might be some kind of advancement here that is going to help you to grow your money, is what I would say there. There's also, like I said, it is very practical communication. But I feel like you're just strongly goal oriented this month, because you do have somehow a little bit more of a resource to draw upon to make something happen. Because the king is a mature energy. So whether this is the wisdom of an elder or somebody who is in your sphere that has kind of done something before, either way, this person has kind of the Midas touch. They do know how to work in business. King of Pentacles, again, is somebody who is already secure and stable, and they have the ability to advance things because they're already in a position of high status. So, again, this could be a mature businessman or somebody that just really sees things through to the end. So, in that case, it could very well be you, but it's somehow related around somebody who has a certain level of status. So, whether they're CEO, whether they're manager, it's somehow somebody that's beyond your position, and they could be extending themselves out to you. Could also represent Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus. But this is definitely somebody who's, focuses on practical, responsible kind of energies. This is the quality of this person. And again, this could be for others, this is going to be you starting to undertake some of those qualities, because this is something that you're trying to move towards. So again, you're all at different timelines, and so this energy may resonate a little further out for others, but overall, I feel like the energies, tap into each of you a little differently. Not everybody is coming at this from the position of being a entrepreneur, but this is also that sense that if you are, somebody who is an entrepreneur, you do have really good leadership qualities and strong beliefs and strong morals, and you are going to be prospering and you're able to advance that. But for those of you that are dealing with money that is maybe a little less available, you're still getting some benefit from this as well, because the energy indicates that you have a sense of increasing your resources in some way here. Um, and again, however that comes to you, maybe there is somebody's helping out, giving you a little extra money, or this could be even multiple sources here, because I do see that there is a lot of cards that seem to indicate a certain sense of back and forth, giving that kind of thing as well in exchange. But I'll get to those ones later here. But either way, a King of Pentacles energy is really somebody who is, they've already mastered, they've already mastered money, and they do have a very discerning way of dealing with their finances. They don't jump into things. They're very practical, slow moving, very methodical. They have a respect for money. So there's not going to be, a lot of waste to throw at something. Again, with the Knight of Swords, this is the energy of taking action in a particular area here. So I feel like this could be in around communication of some sort here as well. But the Knight of Swords is definitely some form of action. So I feel like it's an action around communication here, more specifically, that's in around money. So that would be, I would say, the thing that's coming in mostly for the beginning of November. But definitely some really strong cards here. Like I said, Knight of Swords, there's a lot of activity, and it seemed to be a lot of wise moves that are taking place here with these cards. These are not, even the actions are one slow move to the next action with a lot of mind-oriented, reasoning out a situation. And then, like, it just seems like it's very slow, methodical, moving one card to the next. Knight of Swords is somebody who's, definitely conquering energy here. So I feel like your intention is to just get something done. It is also a lot of energy here around defending your beliefs and kind of standing out in that way. So, you're not willing to compromise so much. You're really in a bit of a defensive position here. So, but either way, just kind of finish off with these cards here. Again, Knight of Swords is definitely still around that same energy of being a little more assertive in, how you go forward. But it feels like there's kind of a suddenness in the money or something coming in here, that's going to help focus things. But there's a lot of, like I say, promotion or advancement in money. Wherever this is coming from, is just extra money that you're able to sort of play with here. Okay, then we get into the Knight of Wands. Now, the Knight of Wands is definitely also that energy of I'm kind of moving on it on a target. I've got a lot of enthusiasm. There's a lot more energy behind my ideas. Knight of Wands is definitely somebody who, kind of takes charge of things, but in a very charismatic way as well. So they don't want to look back. This is the traveler. This is somebody who's got a lot of energy for an adventure. A lot of eager energy here that's kind of, even though it's still starting out with slow, methodical moves, you're eager to get started with something, is kind of what I would say. You just want to get on with something here. You're a little fired up to get something going. And again, it's whether it's to learn or to take action on something. The Knight of Wands is definitely speaking to, you've got you've got the Knight of Wands and that Knight of Swords and the King of Pentacles. So, I mean, these are all really good. I'm in the process of making something happen. And it's actively searching for it as well. When we get to the page, we have 2 pages here as well. So I want to go through that as well. But going into the Page of Swords, again, this is somebody who's really wanting knowledge. They really want something, something to kind of sink their teeth into, So I feel like that's what you're searching for. You have, there's kind of that energy of being a little bit more outspoken. Like your emotions, you're pulled back and reserved in some way, but when it comes to standing up for yourself, that's when the communication seems to, come forward. But I just wanted to say there as well, again, you could be dealing with a younger person here as well. There's a lot of knights here, and there's a lot of page energy. So again, could be 20s to 30s, that kind of thing. But either way, I just feel like you are in a space where uh, you're not experimenting or exploring this. For whoever this resonates for, again, this could be Gemini, Libra, Aquarius that you're dealing with as well, but it just still feels like there's a lot of energy here around communication, and it's sharp communication. So it's almost like there may be clear communication that's almost abrupt, where something is not as said with a lot of reserve, I guess, is what I'm trying to say there. But anyway, so again, when we get to the oh, I guess that was my last card. Sorry, guys. Just checking back to what I had with the other cards there. Again, that space of where we were was kind of what your month is starting out with. Like, what's your current situation? So again, I still feel like there's a lot of direct communication only when you have to defend yourself regarding a position. But otherwise, I think for the most part, you're very pulled back and contained. You're only saying what you need to say in a particular situation, but it seems to be where your words have some weight, is what I would say there in regards to a monetary situation. But you're definitely taking some action here, and you're very, very focused on what's ahead. You are likely still in a stage of Page of Pentacles here, but working toward something that's more of a mature energy. And again, for others, this is dealing with, you're definitely dealing with somebody who's a little bit younger here that is still working on goals, whether it's you or them, goal-oriented energy either way. And again, could be a mentor, somebody who's older, mentoring somebody who's younger, that kind of thing. Somebody who has a better understanding of money, that kind of thing. Again, who's more advanced in business, or however that resonates for you. So then when we get to the next card here, which the Five of Wands is a shift. There's something here that needs to change with the Five of Wands. But this is, oh, actually, I didn't go through what was crossing you. What was crossing you was the Four of Pentacles. So I feel like with the Four of Pentacles, I mean, like I said, this is where I guess I did sort of touch on that a little bit. But the Four of Pentacles, lots of grounded energy, lots of practical energy, but still kind of holding back on something, holding back with your finances, holding back on your emotions, very, thinking things through before you really, move on something. So this is not, you want to take action, you want to make, something go ahead here, but I feel like right now you're feeling pretty good because there's a strong financial base of some sort, or you're feeling pretty protected or more rooted. I'm not saying everything is hunky-dory. I'm just saying that overall there is more of a sense of establishing yourself than in previous months. So the Four of Pentacles does speak to feeling like, you are hanging on to what's yours at this time, and then you'll kind of open up maybe further out. But right now you're in a space of just liking that feeling of security is what I would say there. Okay, so when we get to the Five of Wands, and again, this is where the shift needs to take place. So the Five of Wands, again, is the space where this is like the best that you can really hope for. And when I say that, I'm not saying like in the month of November. It's not to say that, it's just going to be straight battles or something along that line. What I am seeing here, though, is that there is something you have to change, enable for you to kind of like make an adjustment here in the month, that's going to open you up. And I feel like there's a need for change. That's why change is here. But it's a small change. It's not a tower moment. It's a small shift. It's a small challenge. It's something that is like fine tuning something and able to get past it so that you can, have a little bit more in your world open up to you. So there's a certain amount of freedom that comes with a shift like this, right? So again, with the Five of Wands, again, this has to be a shift. There's some kind of competitive energy here. So your stands or your position is, I would say, victorious, in that the Seven of Wands is you're defending your position, defending what it is that you want to do in a situation. So whether this is a purchase or whether this is an action or whether this is a movement toward a particular goal, whatever this is, it's money oriented, I would say, but there is certainly that energy around really needing to, somebody might be trying to steer you in the wrong direction. You're trying to kind of defend that direction is what I would say, because there is several people in this reading. So it's almost like there is energy where there's competing voices, something like that. But either way, whether that is, around you, that competitive energy or that rivalry, your action is always going to be this one here underneath, which is defending your position. So it's not like it's up for debate. It's more along the lines of, an obstacle is interfering with something that you want. And because you have a strong attachment to this particular goal, I feel like you still have the upper hand in the situation. Because when we're talking about that Seven of Wands, it's almost like you just don't have the support around you that you were hoping for. But again, the Seven of Wands is you're still going to maintain your position. So Seven of Wands, again, is still an upper hand in a situation, whether it's work, whether it's, I'm not seeing new job or anything like that. I am just seeing something that you're needing to do or wanting to do, whether this is returning to school or whether this is advancing yourself in some way or putting money towards something. I feel like there's a little bit of a resistance around it. That's all I'm going to say. But there is levels of boundaries here. And I see it when I look at the Hanged Man. There's something that has to shift. There's a bit of a sacrifice. There's something here that's kind of in the way. There will be a balance overall with the Justice, but even with the Four of Pentacles, it's almost like you're holding back on something. It's like the whole thing, the whole story is not really here, or something's not fully revealed with the High Priestess, because it's almost like you're sensing that there is going to be a lot more competition around this particular situation. So whatever that is for you. But again, Seven of Wands is the card that's underneath. So you do have the upper hand in the situation. And I feel overall, your voice is being heard. This is still a position of, a fair amount of your voice is stronger. You're in a better advantageous position. But there is a strong reaction to something for sure. And somebody's trying to push you into something in a particular way that you're not ready to to go into or go in that direction. So again, you're being more assertive about your point of view, and I feel like you're able to just incorporate a lot of your communication in this month. Seems to be very direct. Again, maybe a little bit cutting with a little bit of force, but you're meeting the challenge, and then you're able to take the next step. So again, it's a triumph over some kind of resistance here, because it is a card of conviction. And of course, we have that Five of Wands, that you still have to shift something. Don't put all your time and energy into something that is not really up for debate. If it's something that you can just, independently do on your own, sometimes that's just the best way to deal with it. But either way, you're staying on top of something here either way. So, but your beliefs are being tested here. So anyway, the next card out here with the Hanged Man, this is Libra. Sorry, I didn't see that there, Aim. I won't read your whole thing there. Anyway, yeah, it's for Libra, but I will do some others for Taurus and so on too. But right now we are just on Hanged Man. But I would also say this, if this is something that resonates for you and you're not a Libra, then I think sometimes you find the right reading when you need it. So if it resonates, hang in there. Okay, so when we get to the Hanged Man, this is the position of the hidden factors that are around you, or sort of the foundation where you're kind of at this point. So what I'm seeing here is the Hangman, of course, is that card of, it's a major arcana, and I think I did forget to mention that at the beginning there, but it is a card of, being stuck or having to sacrifice something. And I feel like that's where you've been. You've been in a position where you have felt stuck, where you haven't been able to move something ahead. There's been a certain level of anxiety or anxiousness to move ahead, but now you're in this space where a decision has to be made. And I see it here with the Justice card as well. But either way, the Hanged Man is still, you kind of having to surrender to the process, whether that's inactivity, moving toward accepting that there's a waiting period for something, but there's a little bit of a period of wait. This is kind of, again, what is that's what's sort of hidden around you at this time, is that you will have to sort of wait something out, and you're just a little anxious, I would say, here because of those beginning cards. With the Six of Pentacles, it could be that you're waiting on something coming in within that first week of November or something like that, but there is a sense of having to surrender to that weight. You've got to, release some kind of attachment to it. But the other part of it is, when you think about a goal, this is also a card of reflecting. So it's realizing that you may be able to move forward, two steps, but you're also having to take a step back. So it's almost like a correct course is what's happening here with the Hanged Man. So it's not that you're giving up on something or giving up on a viewpoint, but there is something that you have to maybe surrender to so that you're able to make something happen. So it's either something isn't quite exactly as you would like it, but there's a bit of a surrender to it. But it's almost like you're surrendering to something smaller so that you can gain something larger. It's something like that. So you're focusing on the bigger picture, and this is just a little sacrifice that you have to make. But either way, it's still a card of achieving, a certain element of the goal. Is just that you're not quite fully in control of that aspect. So when I look at the Six of Pentacles, and again, like I just wanted to say as well, with the Hanged Man energy, it's almost like you also you're suspended for a time so that you can also kind of take a better view of the situation. And so you may have to surrender to the obstacle or a obstacle, like I mentioned, and it just accepts something instead of forcing your way through the situation, because it looks like you have the upper hand in a situation, but I don't think the path forward here is to push. The answers, will come because there is going to be balance further out. But again, this is still what's hidden. What's hidden is that there is a little bit of a sacrifice that you're going to have to make. And it does look like it is in around some element of sharing, because the Six of Pentacles is a card of give and take. So it's almost like you have to consider someone else or something else before you're able to kind of act on something. So you're waiting on something before you make a decision about something, because that Six of Pentacles involves another person. So maybe you're waiting on getting some assistance from someone else here, but there's something around generosity or support or assistance that is coming through here with that card. And then, of course, with the Six of Cups, I feel like it's related to something around the past. Could even be a child or something like that that's relevant, but it's something from the past, and it is something of a gift or generosity. There is a Five of Swords, so this could be that this person is at a distance from you, or there is some communication issues, and it looks like, again, there's going to have to be some kind of negotiation around the way that you deal with another person who is younger here or from childhood. You're going to have to negotiate something, and there is going to be a bit of a sacrifice enable for you to deal with that situation. So there's something from the past that you have to find. You're going to have to give something up, enable for the greater good, so to speak. So whatever that is for you, and again, it feels like there's a lot of people in this reading. It feels like there's a lot of younger energy here as well. But, with the Six of Pentacles, it's stop and think about something before you just immediately share. It could even be that here as well, because if you're the giver, it's almost like there is a sense of restriction around something from the past. So, and it feels like there's communication issues, but it's almost like you're being, or it's somehow hindering the process here a little bit by saying, stop and think of something, surrender to something. Don't just jump in there aggressively in this situation, because again, this is the card that indicates what's hidden. So what's hidden is there may be assistance that's coming through from someone who from the past or from a younger person, but again, there's a restriction around it. So I feel like there's a sacrifice, something that has to be negotiated, something that has to be held back or reevaluated. Then when we get to the card of Justice. Okay, so this one, the Justice card, of course, is the past event that is sort of influencing things. So I feel like you have been a big part of that influence. And the Justice card is a significant card. So I feel like um, like, well, when I look at the card underlying, um, and again, this is what is influencing the present. So I feel like you have a strong need for balance at this time with the Justice card. I feel like this is really a card that's telling me you could very strongly be in a place where you're trying to manage something here as well, where you're trying to find the balance, where you're trying to stay in an upright kind of position with things. Because even when we get down to the intuitive card over here, this is still around being still. And it's like, I just feel like there's a sense of having to kind of balance all of it out, even intuitively with the practicality, things along that line. Because the Justice card, again, is a really strong card of having a pretty good idea of who they are and how things kind of advance. But again, it's still a matter of kind of waiting something out here too, like I said, because you're in that space over here with the Hangman. Something's got to be sacrificed. So it's like before a decision is made, it feels like something has to be dealt with, because the Justice card is a decision card. It's almost like you need to be a little more impartial with the situation. A compromise of some sort is required here. So anyway, and able to keep the peace or keep harmony, something like that. There is a decision, again, that seems like it'll go in your favor in a lot of different ways here, but it is about bringing balance into your life by kind of rearranging something, sacrificing something, giving something up, and able to accomplish that, and then you're able to sort of go for it after that. Um, Again, even with the Hanged Man, it feels like if we're talking about something emotional, it's almost like somebody's not really sure how they feel, and whether this is you or somebody else, it's almost like there's a little bit of inactivity where there's somebody's unwilling to kind of take something further or move on something. So there's a decision still around that as well. And the advice, of course, would just be to let go and pause for a moment here. Reflect on your intuitive side to sort of, figure out what you think is kind of the best way to create balance for yourself. Not what's best for the other person, but what's best for you to create balance so that you actually can move in a way that frees you up in some way. So if you feel really restricted by something, to me, that's not an indication that, or if you feel really confused by something, to me, it doesn't feel like you're in a space of certainty, or well, not that you can be 100% certain about everything in life anyway, but to me, it feels like you need whatever is going to give you balance in this moment, and moment to moment everything always changes. So I would say that whatever your decision is to create the balance in this moment isn't necessarily going to hold out 10 years from now, or whatever the next situation is that arises. All I'm saying is, in this moment, whatever you need to do to create some kind of objectivity around a situation or find some fairness in a situation, it just feels like you need to kind of use that as your guide. Um, it is also a card of making amends. So it's, where you kind of everything kind of culminates and kind of brings up past mistakes, and it's almost a willingness to forgive as well, because even though there has been some uncertainty about feelings, but unable to move forward, it's almost like this unable to make a change for the better. There is a level of forgiveness, there's a level of trying to find that strike a balance between what's important to you and what is. And there's more than one card here indicating balance. So that should also tell you that that's what it is. And there could be an air sign here that's relevant here with that King of Wands. So, yeah, I would say that is a pretty... The King of Wands, like I said, that's a very charismatic person here as well. That's somebody who really stands out. Lots of energy, likes to take control. Somebody who is kind of loud and proud, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy, somebody who is, more magnanimous. I mean, on the positive, I mean, they really get things done, very charismatic, could be entrepreneurial sort of qualities as well about this person. And leadership kind of qualities here as well. Somebody who just sort of self-starts, gets things going, really takes advantage of a situation when they see an opportunity, that kind of thing. Very inspired action here as well. So, but again, at the same token, it's also a card of sort of forgiveness and creating balance within that space. So we also have the Two of Pentacles, and again, there's negotiation energy all over the place here for me. So again, it's almost like there's something that you need to consider here before taking action. So it's like a pause, but a deliberate pause in around a partnership or a relationship, or there's just some kind of period of waiting here, unable to balance something out. So, but again, Two Pentacles, I feel like something might be a little out of control in terms of time or energy. I'm not sure if whoever that resonates for, but again, with the Two of Pentacles, it's like something is kind of, you're juggling something. You're trying to figure out, playing with something, you're trying to figure out, have I taken on too much? How do I create the equilibrium here? That's sort of the energy that I get with that Two of Pentacles and from the other cards. Again, lots of energy around a compromise that needs to be negotiated. It's not like you can force a solution. You have to allow for something else to be released here. You can't control the situation. There's an adjustment of some sort that needs to be made here. We also have the card of Eight of Wands. There's a lot of communication coming through here. There's direct communication that could be more sharp, but there's also immediate communication with the Eight of Wands. So something is speeding ahead here. And what I would say that is your happiness, the ultimate happiness. So something is coming in really quickly that's going to make you feel incredibly happy. The Nine of Cups is that card of something I've wanted is right here in my hands, or something I've wanted is right here, ready to bring something to a conclusion or give me some flexibility or some level of fulfillment or attainment. Could be just an emotional thing here, but I see a lot of pentacles, so I feel like the two of them are kind of somehow entwined together. They're integrated in some way, and I just feel like this is going to bring you a lot of hope in the month of November. So whatever this is for you, it's a pretty good card of, it's wish fulfillment, so it's a pretty good card of pleasure. It's something that I feel like you have wanted, you're aware of it, and either way, it's a sense of a dream coming true, and it's something that something that you're going to have here that you consider fortunate for you. So either way, there's emotional satisfaction that's attached to this, and I feel like this is just going to kind of throw you over the throw you over the moon here. It's not the only card I remember seeing here. So there's actually better cards coming through, and if that isn't good enough, I don't know what is. Like, there's some really good cards coming in for the month of November. So I'm going to get right into the next one here. Again, some kind of sacrifice or something here that you're going to have to negotiate out. But either way, I feel it's for the greater good and the bigger picture, and it's going to be in your favor either way. Okay, sorry, I twisted all my cards up here. So the next card out is, okay, so this position was, what's your next move? And of course, the Two of Wands as a next move is, somebody who's about to move forward in a particular area. So I feel like the page is more the communication or the introduction towards something, but it's something that you've been kind of working on, not something that's just new to the process here. But when we get to the Two of Wands, you're ready to walk through the door. So, Two of Wands, like I said, this is where you are finding out new things, or there's more new information that's coming in here that's going to help you to move forward. So, it's like you've got something that is ready to take hold of, and it's very positive energy, because we also have the Ten of Cups here. So, this is like really happy, emotional cards. It's something that just makes you feel like you're really in control in the month of November. It makes you feel safe or secure in some way. And again, could very well be that there is some kind of a financial win here. But overall, I mean, the main cards out I see are not, King of Pentacles, Ten of Pentacles. Those are all sort of like the cards following as clarifiers. So to me, I'd need to see a lot more of those before I see major windfall. But whatever this is, or something that's going to make you elated, happy, very, very happy. So again, there's new information, there's a new plan that you're going forward here with, and there's some kind of action that's taking place because you're at the Two of Wands. So there's an action with that. They're all smaller steps. They're not necessarily big, maneuvers, but whatever it is, it feels like you're moving it to the next level. You're moving it to the next step. Two of Wands is you could be doing this in cooperation with other people here as well, because there's a lot of cards of other people being present here. So Two of Wands to me is also a collaborative, cooperative card. So you're doing this in tandem with other people or sharing something in some way along this journey. But either way, I feel like others are more willing to help you out in some way. Again, this is ships coming in. Ships coming in the way of again, even with the King of Swords, this is Libra energy. So, I mean, there's something about a raise, or there's something about, something's about to change there where the finances are going to improve. Like I said, in the month of November, more than one card supports that. And I almost feel like when we get to, and it is, success that's imminent with what's happening here, because the king, you've got a lot of kings in here. So this is a lot of mature energy. And that King of Swords is somebody who is your energy, represents your energy, but it also represents a really strong take charge kind of period, because there's just too many kings, too many knights, action, lot of momentum here. Again, King of Swords, air sign, and it certainly speaks to being more mind over matter, or head over heart kind of energy. So you've got some really strong beliefs. You're very concise this month. I feel like you really know what you're going for with the King of Swords. And it's, again, having very high standards because there's just so many kings here. But there's also that energy of could be dealing with, somebody who's a policeman or a lawyer or a judge, doctor, anything like that. They're really a lot of cards of formal, energy that way as well. But either way, it's very established energy with all this kings and, of course, with the justice card. So I just feel like you're going to be in a place where you're going to be able to be strong, more powerful in some way in this month. And again, it's just so many energies around being fair, logical, lots of decision making in this month. If you are dealing with the legal system, it's still in your favor, like in an extreme way, going in your favor. So there may be a compromise, but if it is a legal matter, that compromise is still something that you're not going to be too, shedding too many tears over. It feels like it's something that is still, of quite an advantage to you. But there's prosperity that's flowing through here. Again, there's definitely a lot more strength to improve yourself. Um, I just feel like there's a lot more energy, a lot more breathing space, something along that line. Even though there's some blunt energy here in terms of communication, it seems like it's short in and out spurts. So it's not something that drags on and really overshadows the rest of the month. It's just sort of comes in and out, and then you just sort of deal with it, and you kind of move on from it. Is what I would say there. When we get to the next card out there, again, it's around a family situation or whoever family is for you. Ten of Pentacles is the ultimate. You have a lot of the big cards out here. Ten of Cups, Ten of Pentacles. So there's something that's coming to fruition here that is around your stability. So again, it doesn't have to be direct family, but it definitely feels as though it is whatever is creating a sense of financial security, or some sense of establishment here for you. This is very strongly correlated with things in the month of November. So again, I feel like whatever, if there is some kind of emotional bond between people or between, people that you consider family, it's a rich emotional bond. It's something that's really satisfying as you go through the month, because uh, the position that you're in there is that's your next move, is things are going in your favor. So there's a lot more stability, there's a lot more abundance, there's a lot more family life, there's a lot more connection. There's just a lot more feeling of making it in some way, even in terms of an established union. So whether it's a marriage union or otherwise, because we did have the justice card, I just feel like there is a lot of stronger relationships coming through here. I'm not saying there's no arguments at all coming in, because there was just that little tidbit there where it feels like there had to be a negotiation or something met there. But either way, it feels like there's a substantial improvement in connections and in money, in finance at this time. So we'll just go back to the original card, ships coming in. Okay, so when we get to the Ten of Cups, again, this is the position of more along the lines of what you can do, or more sort of how you see yourself, that kind of thing. And how you're seeing yourself is ecstatic. You're seeing yourself in a happy position. You feel like you've really hit a milestone. So there's something here along that line of you've transitioned here, because there's a lot of cards of completion or transition here, even with this one here. So this is a transitional card where it's a renewal of something because you've completed something, and it seems to be in around family or money or something with an established energy anyway, but you're preparing for a new beginning here. And again, Ten of Cups, it's the ultimate. So this is around something that's giving you did have the Nine of Cups that was out there as well. It's moving into that, but this is going into a completed phase. So you're now going into the next level or the next direction towards something. So again, your feelings are very true and strong and loving, and there's a strong foundation. There's enduring success, there's enduring happiness, there's a sense of emotional harmony, that kind of thing, and prosperity all coming through here. I feel like you feel pretty safe and protected in this month in November. Your focus is definitely on family or emotions and connection with people that you're long-standing commitments to, like you're very connected to that bunch now. Who, if there was a separation, everything's reconnection. It's reciprocated, all of that. But there's a vast improvement all over the place here. So your personal relationships, family relationships, those kinds of things are feeling fulfilled, and of course it follows with the Two of Cups. So there's a definite partnership where there is definite improvement. Doesn't have to be romance. Could very well be, just an established connection to someone from the past. Could be friend, family, otherwise. But either way, that Two of Cups energy is still in around strong connection. Whatever this is it's a very strong connection. And it feels like there's some kind of understanding or something that's reached there. So again, it does sort of represent more emotional balance all around. So I feel like this is just making you excited because there's more of a settled energy around disputes or resolving, past differences. Something has more of a pleasant surrounding or a cooperative kind of feel to it. So I'm going to leave that there. But there's significant improvement, lots of levels here in the month of November. And again, even in terms of your overall health, it feels like there's lots of balance. When we get to the position of the Six of Swords, and we're almost done here, guys, but when we get to the Six of Swords, so this is around your environment. This is kind of how others are seeing you here as well. They see you that you're going away from a lot of difficult times. The Six is definitely finding balance, and it certainly does speak to more harmony, after a period of change. So this is definitely triumphing over things, and you're closer to a goal than you previously were. So when we get to the Six of Swords, again, this is that energy of I'm transitioning from the old into the new, and this is how everybody seems to be seeing you. You're at some kind of a turning point here. So there's also that energy around, you're pushing through to a new direction either way, with that Six of Swords. And I feel like this period of change is probably going to create um, some distance from your old self to the new self, so again, it's going to take some time for everybody to sort of adjust to that. But there's also a sense that they see that there is changes taking place within you, and so there's kind of there's a plan for you to restructure here in this month. And I feel like because you're making those plans, this is where, and you might even be thinking of a trip here too. This could be transitioning that way, but for the most part I usually see some other cards that kind of fall out with that. But either way, I just feel like you're putting some distance between the things that were hardships for you in the past. When we get to the final card out, so the High Priestess, this is an amazing card. She is somebody who kind of a mystery to others, definitely deals with the unconscious, or and more spiritually motivated, and a very intuitive sort of card. So there's a certain sense of mystery about you in this period, and I feel like that is where you're getting a lot of those moments, mindful moments, where you can actually um, get in touch with, your gut feelings, or getting clear on something, or how to deal with it in a really successful way, because you're developing a deeper connection to your inner self when you do that. And so whether this comes through in patterns around you or in dreams, it's still energy that is helping you to emotionally sort of balance yourself out, because when you're disconnected from yourself, then you're also disconnected from your world in a lot of ways, as well as others. So this is really that slow down card. Again, there's some other cards here that speak to that. You're energized and excited and want to go ahead and towards something, but maybe that's where the compromise is, in addition to something else. But it feels like the compromise may also be related to slowing down the change, and kind of taking in more, before you sort of act out. So doing more along the lines of planning, that kind of thing. There's something here with this card as well, where you're kind of learning to discern between, with the Eight of Pentacles, things around money here as well, or the practical matters. So the High Priestess to me is still in around what makes sense, if you're in that space of, it's not a linear process, it's more along the lines of, I'm really needing to, or I'm choosing to sort of focus more on my gut instincts on something. Um, and that intuitiveness rather than, but I'm also trying to find the balance in the practical to make something happen. So, I mean, this might be the card that is primarily where your focus is, but you're really putting it in there into the month, getting something moving. So it's still a pretty heavy card. Like it's a main energy out, like I said. So I would still say that, because you started out with the Four of Pentacles crossing you and the Page of Pentacles as the main cards, I mean, it's still around career and your personal life, or sort of taking the next step in a journey that's in around the practicality. And so there are still some unknown elements here when we get to the High Priestess. So, I mean, the High Priestess, very strong. All the queens kind of rolled into one here. But, I mean, it's definitely still that card of empowerment and feeling stronger, maybe even more spiritually here as well. But it's realizing that, you may not have the full story to act on something in around finances, but you can see that it's moving in a positive direction, because you're probing deep beneath the surface. This is you going very deep to find your answers. You're being your own best counselor. So, um, but yeah, I don't feel like you have any difficulty with resolving what you need to deal with. Could be dealing with a Cancer sign here as well. But whatever is unknown is now becoming more knowable. And I feel like that knowledge is what's helping you to sort of balance things out. There is a sense that you, again, are a little more pulled back, aloof, detached, not as much emotional involvement, that kind of thing, because maybe it's because you don't quite see the full picture here yet, you don't have the full story, that kind of thing. But I don't feel like there's anything that you don't feel. It's almost like you're just being a little bit more secretive during this period. It's not, sorry guys, it's not energy that is negative to me, especially when it follows up with the Eight of Pentacles. I mean, again, so much energy and focus on money and practical matters and getting things done, taking the next steps. I feel like this is also a reminder that, not everything is explained logically or rationally, but it also is, where you're able to, if you know yourself well enough, you can take the next step, is what I want to say. Because there's a lot of hard work that you're putting into answering those deeper questions, answering, whether this is pursuit of spiritual knowledge, or whether it's pursuit of actual knowledge in terms of books, that kind of thing. But either way, there's a sense of you really, again, dedicated to an idea, get dedicated to the hard work to achieve success here. This is definitely, putting in a lot of time to achieve a goal. Excuse me, sorry guys, but it is still a combination of intuition, hard work, dedication, all of that. But I feel like you're in a place of wanting to not just do something just to get it done. This is about mastering it for you. The magician was there, the high priestess is there. This is about being somebody who could very well be teacher, instructor, somebody who is able to, because you trust your inner voice. And so once you can trust your inner voice, you're able to teach others. And that does open up a doorway here with the Ace of Wands. So again, the Ace of Wands, this is still further out energy, but this is the direction everything is going. So the Ace of Wands, of course, is new beginning. Could be something by summertime here as well. And again, 5 weeks, 5 months, something like that was also kind of relevant. 5 days, but I think it's more larger span of time than that. But again, we still have wands as developing ideas, with the Ace of Wands, developing, enterprising, growth, spiritual matters. So it's like you're developing, not just spiritually, but you're also developing in a practical way. So it's like it's a very good balance, a lot of balance coming through in this month. And again, I feel like that's the fire to get things moving here with the Ace of Wands, is a new idea, a new striking out on your own, because there's a new chapter that's beginning here. This is a new story. This is the combination that you need to make manifest, to make something happen, is the intuitive as well as the practical, and you're really, and the idea. So following that, we get to the card of the moon. And of course, the moon is still that energy of, nothing is fully revealed here yet, but the moon definitely still speaks to, something that is starting to open up. So you're starting to see the way forward. It is still dealing with a lot of darker sort of energies here as well, the subconscious things that you might be still working through, but you still have the upper hand. You still are in control of those things, and it's still something that you're learning from. You have, like I said, you have very strong energy here in this month. Just too many cards of justice, balance, too many cards of maturity, having, understood lessons. Um, there are not any really big surprises or anything coming in this month. It's like you have really strong grounded energy. The moon card can be about fantasy and, looking at, finding, losing your way or something along that line here too. But it's also because it's paired with so many positive cards. I feel that this is more along the lines of, you're using your imagination and your fantasy ideas to bring something into the practical. But it's not just that. This is also about getting hold of any habits and really taking the time to consider, what is your narrative on things here as well as how have you been living your life kind of thing, because you're dealing with both elements, the practical and putting in the work. So it's and dealing with those deeper questions. So you have strong problem solving capabilities in this month. You have but you're really answering most of your questions because you're examining your desires and your motivations, that kind of thing. So, and you're probably looking at some of your daydreams or the things that were kind of in the recesses of your mind and sort of trying to figure out the interactions. Um, because again, I just feel like this is how you're shaping each day. Like each day you're doing some action here, I see. Even though we do have the period here where there's going to be a little bit of a pause and you have to negotiate something out a little bit. There's a bit of a sacrifice, but it's not, I just don't feel like there's any deception, but it's almost like you're trying to figure out all the background information before you move ahead. And that's exactly what happens with the Fool. So it's like you're ready to jump into some new situation. And even though you don't have all of the details yet, you're going to be taking that next step, because the most likely outcome was exactly what I had here. It's the full energy, it's the carefree, but it's not just going in with a naive mindset here, because you are going through deeper questions. You've got some ideas, you're putting in the hard practical work, and the high priestess energy is the outcome. So to me, like I said, the high priestess outcome means you are standing in your power. This is a place of it's all four queens rolled into one. You're using your resources. You're really taking advantage of things. You don't have the full story, but you also are a bit of an anomaly. You're a bit of a mysterious sort of energy here. So even though the path is not quite clear, you're open and receptive to going in this new direction. And of course, it was followed with the Fool card, so it definitely speaks to that. But I feel like you're almost drawing on your own mystique here as well and trying to figure out um, how can you use that to your advantage to achieve what you want. So it's a very pulled back sort of energy still with that high priestess, but definitely all about being aware, living in the moment, pausing, taking the time when you need to pause, making decisions based on your intuition, but not just emotional. You're also putting it into practicality, with that Eight of Pentacles energy. And again, family is very strongly at the forefront, because we had the Four of Wands energy over here. So, and we also had partnership that was quite strong. Your connections are coming through here quite strong. There's a certain level of, um, again, negotiation, working something out with another person, but whatever that sacrifice is, it doesn't feel like it is in any way changing the outcome. Everything is moved in a very positive direction. So like the Four of Wands is kind of the, again, more ultimate stability here with the Four of Wands. So whatever is happening in this month, it is definitely balancing things out for you. The Four is definitely a strong, secure, disciplined, stable place to be. It's somebody who's, based on planning And again, with that Four of Wands energy, it's giving you an idea that something has been approved. Something is, there could even be like a celebration here coming in too. Now that I think about it, because we have a lot of cards of emotional fulfillment and also wish fulfillment coming through there as well. But with the Four of Wands energy here too, this is, there's a lot of there's a lot of company, a lot of people around you. There's a celebration, I would say, here in November. It's good news. Lots of cards here that indicate good news is coming in, more than one area. I feel like you are feeling overall grounded. I definitely feel like this is the card that was at the bottom of the deck. So again, I feel like you're something around your foundation, your family, or your connections, or those that you think are family. People, maybe somebody maybe is trying to steer you in the wrong direction or in their direction at some point, but I still feel like you have the upper hand in that situation. But this card here tells me that you've moved to a more stable energy. So whatever it is that was unstable has resolved. um, and again, it just feels like overall you are looking forward to something that is successful, successful home life, family relationships. Increased money is coming in this month. Again, I don't see it necessarily as big windfall energy, but there's something here that comes in that's going to advance your money and it's going to bring you a lot of happiness here. So again, there's also something about enlightenment, because now that I'm thinking about that, with that Five of Wands and the Hanged Man energy, and with that High Priestess, there's some kind of enlightenment that comes through here. Like there's a level of higher knowledge, I would say, that you are tapping into, and that is going to help you steer the way. That's what I would say there. And somehow it impacts your foundation, your family front, or your stability in a really big way. Anyway, that's what I have for you for the month of November. Amazing month to look forward to. So let me know in the comments if anything resonated for you, and hopefully here in the next couple of weeks we'll have a better sense of where things are going. But in that beginning of November, it looks like there's going to be something probably in that first week or so that comes in pretty rapidly. But it's more than one thing. It's not just one thing, guys. So anyway, that's what I have for you. Keep moving forward. Never give up. You're about to embark on a whole new story.